we start again. Next on stage is Martin Alfgate talking about collaborative communication. So thanks for coming, but he's from Berlin. It was not a big distance to travel. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you. So what we learned so far, longest distance was sitting over there, New York, I suppose it has been. So I suppose I'm the guy with the shortest distance. It was 35 minutes with public transportation getting here. I'm interested to learn whether someone had a far more shorter travel around here. Yes, even shorter, just across the street. Sorry? 10 minutes, okay. No, we should do that someplace else next year, so I have the shortest travel again. So, my name is Martin. People who know me might ask themselves, what is this guy doing here on an Icinga camp on stage? Normally he's doing puppet only. So, mostly he does the puppet trainings, the puppet workshops, talks about puppet, and we already had a puppet talk around here. So, we already knew, so it was Walter. Walter already gave us an introduction on how to do stuff automatic within Icinga, managing our complete monitoring configuration. We had DNS Michi telling us about the API. So I can't tell something about the API. I'm not the developer of the API. I was very happy that DNS Michi was around here explaining this stuff because he did most of the work. So why I'm still up here, there's another pattern that I like when it comes to automating and DevOps. And I tried to think about a proper term without using buzzwords, and I came up upon collaborative communication. So this is a talk about working together and communicating together in the same place. Or as other people mentioned it, just bring the work that you are already doing into the conversations that you are already having. People who know James Fryman, worked for GitHub and lately for Stackstorm, now is moving on to another place. He's one of the evangelists, let's say it this way, let's keep it that way, on collaborative communication. So, what is the difficulties? What is communication at all? So, one guy once said, you cannot not communicate. This might be true when it comes to between-person relationship. It's not so obvious when we say within IT, someone who's not saying anything, oh, I did an error, I did a mistake, he's not telling it, he's not communicating this error. We need other tools doing that communication, tools like monitoring solutions. What else is it that people say, this is a term that describes communication in a proper way? It means when you see some kind of description, what is communication at all? People refer to communication as transmission of information from a source to a receiver, and you don't lose any information in between. Wow. There's two things which are automatically implemented by this sentence. The first one, there is information at all in what gets transferred as a message. And this without loss of information. So let's say for the first thing. So transmission of information. Many of you know people saying something for the whole day without saying anything. So they talk for the whole day and they don't mean anything. We know that from politicians. They just start talking and they don't get to the point. The next thing is without loss of information, and this is the most severe one, especially when it comes to IT. So I hope nobody in IT just talks for the whole day without saying anything. Please keep that to other people's business. But the important thing is, okay, the loss of information. When you see somehow, let's say the workflow of communication, you have someone saying something. This guy, girl, whoever has some kind of knowledge, has some kind of education, speaks a certain language, has some kind of technology background, and he's putting his information into a message. And then you transmit this message. You can transmit it via different things. The most common thing is people nowadays just talking face to face. So you're using your mouth for transmitting that information, which means you have it out in the air. So you have the channel. So the channel in this case is the waves that go through the air. Without loss of information implements that between transmitter and receiver in the channel, no disturbance at all takes place. So, starting airplanes. What is it that we had this morning? The funny car outside? It seems that the battery is empty by now. So you have lots of disturbance. And then you have the next problem with the receiver. The receiver tries to understand the message, and well, mostly what I've seen in IT business so far is, in Germany we call it stille Post. So you pass in one information and tell them, okay, don't say it loud, but say it to a neighbor, and this information passes everybody of you, and then I'm asking over there, okay, what information has arrived over there? Mostly it's very interesting, because these two informations don't align at all. So within the receiver, who's listening with his ear, does he understand the language? Does he have the same educational or technology background? The most severe things I see nowadays when it comes to IT, developers saying something about caches, and ops people saying something about caches, and they mean completely different things, because they have a different technology background. So how does communication grow? How was it born? Let's say born. Well, in the ancient times, we had people drawing pictures on caves, for example. It was an information, yes. Was it possible to transfer this information from one place to another? You have to really move the whole cave to someplace else, so impossible. So later on, mankind developed something like an alphabet, whether it's runes or stuff like that, no problem. They started carving it in stone. So they were not painting anymore, they're carving now. Okay, it was smaller plates now they carry around. So you know Asterix and Obelix at the, was it Roman army carrying around those huge plates with information about the registrants for the army? So it was at least somehow possible transferring information from one location to another. Chinese people were quite ahead when they developed paper, which made transport of information far more easily doable than we had it in stones. Okay, but this is ancient times. Ancient times are gone by now. We're in modern times. What is it that we do in modern times? So in modern times we have something like a phone. Is there anybody here who does not own a phone? Okay, yeah, thank you. So we are in modern times by now. We have phone. People communicating via short message system. They communicate via email. But these ways on transferring information from one source to a destination, not all of them are, let's say, parsable by others. It's mostly a one-to-one communication. Yes, you can do phone conferences and put more people inside. Yes, you can write emails to multiple recipients. But will they immediately read the email? Will they immediately see what has happened? So this leads us to something, let's say it, more modern times. So actual times. How can we communicate a direct communication transmitter to receiver, and that everybody has immediately a view on what was transferred, what was the information? So, okay, a typo inside, yeah, okay, people counting typos, having the right number might get a beer later on. So we have IRC. It's a chat system where you immediately see people typing and you immediately see people answering. That is the reason why open source community loves that for giving support for open source stuff. Where's the Icinga IRC channel? Is it just Icinga? Yeah, okay, funny. See, people know about that and they use it. Mostly inside of companies, people prefer something like XMPP or Jabber. So they have an in-house Jabber server. The more modern companies say, okay, no, we don't run infrastructure. We do products, and infrastructure is something we put into the cloud. So we don't have any system locally. We don't have servers. We don't have in-house IT. We don't need them. We have them somewhere out, at Amazon, at Rackspace, wheresoever. And we buy services which integrate into some kind of cloudy-ish platform. So think about Slack, think about HipChat, for example. Mostly web-based, but still allow some kind of collaboration, working together, sharing information. Okay, so far it's for the communication. We found we have solutions for communicating with each other in real time, anywhere where we are. So you can have on your smartphone, everybody has one, I've learned that already. You can just open your somehow Slack application and you can communicate to your team members wherever you are. You don't have to be in the office, it could even be somewhere at the beach, as long as you have a decent internet connection. Well, okay, communication is fine. Okay, what is about collaboration? Why do we want to collaborate at all? Well, first, you don't want to build silos, knowledge silos. So you want to have a couple of people working together on problems. Maybe it's not really a problem, it's just a huge workload you have to do within a very short amount of time. So you split up work depending on what is the knowledge of that guy over there. Oh, he's a DBA, he knows his decent knowledge about databases. Ah, that's okay, that one, oh, that's the developer. Ah, he's doing the application. Who's that guy over there? Yeah, he knows about microphones and he knows about beamers. So you have different expertise and you try to split up a huge, larger project amongst multiple people with different expertise. What else is meant by collaboration? You get new hires. So I hope you get new hires. When you get new hires, okay, what is it, the standard description on, I need a system engineer, he should have studied, he should have a PhD, he should have at least 5 years working experience in enterprise and open source platforms, he should have shown his expertise by having at least 5 different repositories with code on GitHub, and he may not be older than 19. Okay. So what do you do with this 19-year-old guy that knows already everything? Keep him. At least have a look whether he's still normal from a personal mindset. So what is it that you have to do? You get new hires. They don't immediately understand your platforms. You have to train them. You have to coach them. You have to show them how stuff is working. And there's also processes that describe, okay, how can we do collaboration? For developers, it means code together. Have the junior sitting down and the senior next to him and say, hey, this is the task we are going to do now. What is it? A term I've learned a couple of years ago is something like a code dojo. They did this at the Berlin-based company with the ops people, and where they learned the ops people are not good with developing proper code. They have a few people knowing Perl, they have one guy knowing Python, and that's it. And they sat together, everybody in a room, and there was one chair and a laptop and a beamer. And then I said, okay, one is going to the chair, sitting down in front of the computer, starting some coding. He was not allowed to talk at all. There was someone else next to him. He should describe his colleagues, what is it that he's seeing, what the guy is doing at all. And 5 minutes later, you just rotate. And it's for learning about, because you always, when you have finished a certain step, you get the next work on top of that. It's for getting an understanding, please, people have written code once and there has been a certain purpose, please honor that code. And on the other hand, if you learn that honored code doesn't reflect the actual solution anymore, the requirements anymore, just also get rid of old code. So this is something, a learning process. 4I principle, sitting together with someone, even if it's seniors, it's okay, having them working together on some kind of a code base. And then there's all this fancy buzzwords around, like DevOps or OpsDev, or we have NetOps nowadays, and OpsNet, and we have even people starting on DevNet, so we can programmatically automate switch router configuration. So it's multiple things where now different departments with different knowledge and different understanding on technology should collaborate. Okay, so we have an understanding on communication, we have an understanding on collaboration. We somehow need to combine these, but what is it with the communication within IT? What is it that we have around there? Well, normally, we as an IT guy, we communicate with systems. So systems, well, they don't talk to us right now. Maybe this changed in the future. But at the moment, you have something like status of system. So what does the monitoring say? Is the system healthy? Is it broken? You have another tool where you say, okay, I'm seeing the build chain. I'm seeing the build pipeline. Everybody wants to have continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. But he needs to have an understanding on what is my actual state of all this C-ish stuff. You have the ticketing system where people tell you, hey, I need my user account, hey, I need my email is no longer working. You have the next tool. And communication. How do you do communication in IT? Well, mostly it's the web interface. You read something from the web interface, you type it into a shell, you type it into an email, and when you have trouble, you just go to your in-company Jabber channel and you ask someone from third level for, hey, please support me, I don't know what the problem is around here. So having all these different things that talk to us now make a requirement for IT operations. We now want to build one-liners. Hey boss, I need a new monitor. I can't build a one-liner anymore. I need a 64-inch screen. That height is okay. Yeah. So we don't have that. We build monitor walls where we have tons of information about network traffic. We have information about MySQL replication drift. We have information about users accessing the platform. So mostly people nowadays combine this into technology and business related information using the big huge screens around there, because also IT is responsible for the dollar per minute value that is up there on the screen. Okay. Where's Simon? Where's Simon? He should be around here. He's mostly working in Berlin. He's even not in the office. So he's working remotely. So does the company now get such a screen like that one to everybody's home office? Okay, I don't need TV anymore. I don't need a beamer. I have 24 monitors. Small, thin frames put together. Oh, that's nice, awesome. Let's go playing something. No, you can't, you won't have them at home. So you have your standard laptop around there. So you will have something like rolling dashboards that show you this information and that information. Like you've seen it this morning and every break around here on the beamers when they said, this is Icinga Camp Berlin. And by the way, this is the Wi-Fi. So it switches information. The same you do with the dashboards. You have multiple sources of information and you try to combine them. Okay, yeah, so we have already everything in place. We have the communication, we have the collaboration, so what is it that we need to combine around here? There is nothing to combine. The first thing I always ask myself, why do I have to look up similar information in different locations? I have a browser with how many tabs do you usually have open in your browser when you're at work? Who has more than 10 tabs? Yeah, funny. Okay. So why do you have it? Okay, despite your private email, despite your YouTube and Facebook account, so let's get 7 tabs open, which you need for business. So you have to switch between the tabs for getting together information that you are needing. How do you ensure that someone who enters the company knows about all the URLs that inside that tab? That's fairly easy. He gets an email account. When he has an email account, he has a wiki account. When he has a wiki account, he can just open the landing page. Okay, and then open the tabs. Yeah, okay, that's nice, indeed. Documentation. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How many different? Sorry?
I love it.
You love it? I love it too, but I don't want to write documentation, I want it to be generated. I prefer automation. I don't like manual work. The ideal way on how I see system engineers, system operators is, I have a picture. There's the sun, there's palms, there's beach, I have a cocktail. I have a smartphone, everybody has a smartphone, and I see something like, oh, we have high load on the back-end systems, and I take a nip from the cocktail, look back to the smartphone, and say, okay, automation solved that issue. So this is a guy who knows his platform and who knows how it's working, and this guy should be paid a huge amount of money. So please put beaches into your offices. So, okay, we want to align somehow communication. And now we see the tools that we are using. And now we want to see, okay, what is it that these tools offer us where we can combine different information into a single place? And hopefully, please love APIs learn about APIs, use APIs. They are the most useful thing nowadays you can make use of having something like collaborative communication together. So Icinga 2, we had DNS Michi describing and even showing us this is the way how the API is working. Yeah, make use of that API. Yes, with SSL certificates, that's fine. That's fine. You want to do it in an automatic pattern. You don't have to type in the whole certificate on the command line. You want to automate the stuff. Puppet, configuration management, has APIs. The Jenkins has an API, your Jira has an API. Maybe you will find one or two weird tools from the old ages existing platforms that don't offer an API. Okay, try to get rid of these. The thing is, you want to align your communication, which means start doing everything in one place. Don't switch tools. Automate everything, every single step you have. Automate incident resolving. Automate monitoring. Automate the setup, automate the provisioning, automate account setup, automate account deletion. Just automate everything. And you mostly will do that by having some small code snippets around. And a nice word it's again James Fryman, honoring him here today since he can't be here, he just switched the company. Protect yourself from yourself and make your code super secure. So never make any assumptions or suggestions, just be absolutely specific. When that happens, I only want to have that happening. And do it like the GNU tool do it. One tool for one little thing, the next little thing, the next tool. So you can easily identify on when something is not working, where to look for. You don't have a huge code basis, you just have small snippets of code. So, okay, now let's bring together collaboration and communication, where we have something like a chat client, we receive notifications, we receive alerts from systems, we inject into our infrastructure commands, please do something. Hey, AWS, please spin up 25 more of the front-end servers. We are on high load and we have high traffic and many consumers accessing our platform. Yeah. Do the questionnaire also in the same way. It's not only related to IT. The business guys, they want to have numbers. They want to have something like weird things, conversion rates. Wow, okay, I remembered the term. So they want to get information on how many paying customers do we have, when will a customer leave the platform prior he finishes the buying of our product. He wants to get information from IT. And now we have that chat client around there. So why should I now have something like a workflow, the BI guys writing a Jira ticket, someone reading the Jira ticket, it's the first level support, seeing, oh, this is the guy that wants information. So now I'm going to next some kind of third level expert and ask him, okay, BI wants to get some information. And he just fires up some kind of SQL statement, returns just a comma separated value list back to the first level support, and the first level support is doing some graphing around on making funny pictures, which the BI guy will understand. Wow, the BI guy, the first level, the third level, that's expensive information. That's very expensive information. So you want to have one tool to combine everything. You're saying one tool for little things, now you're integrating everything into one tool. It's one tool just for combining the information, not doing the stuff behind. You want to have one thing where you say, I want to analyze my platform. I want to know about what is system health at the moment. I want to run deployments. I want to gather information from the platform. I want to generate reports and graphs and automatically send them to someone. I want to trigger CI. I want to trigger a build. I want to trigger close a ticket because it's inside the code. So I even would like to have some kind of automated hooks on even repository basis where they say, hey, if I get a commit which announces closing and I get the Jira ticket number, it automatically closes me the ticket. So what does this also mean? Let's do an example. It's the best thing you can do. John is sitting in first level support, announcing to Ben via company chat, hey Ben, have you seen the spike and load on the backend systems? But he has no understanding, he just sees, oh, a spike, I have to inform someone, something he's doing. Ben then says, yeah, oh, wait, I'll have a look. He's switching tools now, so there's a couple of seconds in between. Then he reports back, yes, I've seen it, I need to analyze. Meanwhile, John was talking with Ben. It's again Ben. He was talking with Bob, sorry. He was talking with Bob. Bob is the business intelligence guy. And he says, hey Ben, forget about it. I learned Bob was doing some, annual graphics right throughout our load peak times. So, yeah, he's very sorry about that, but everything's okay by now. Ben? Can you hear me? And Ben reports back, hey, okay, I haven't found anything. I just restarted the server, but now we have an issue. Not that funny having an issue, especially during peak load times. So what is the new way of having something similar, but not involving Ben, and everybody understanding what is happening at the moment? We have Bob now interacting directly and said, hey, dear bot, please generate a report for 2014. And the bot is reporting back and said, yes, I'm generating your report right now. The next thing, you have your monitoring, which says, hey, high load on backend 8.5. And John, which is the first level support, reports to Bob, hey, please, please, please stop doing that report when we have high peak business hours. Okay, Bob excuses. John acknowledges on the backend system that there is a high load, because he now definitely knows what is causing the high load on the backend system. The backend system reports back via the bot, hey, I have acknowledged that error, so it's still fine. Somewhere the bot will report, okay, your report is ready, and the monitoring will report back in and say, okay, the problem is no longer existing. Where is Ben? Ben isn't involved. Ben is working on the new platform, and you don't need to disturb Ben on his work, what he is doing. Nobody needs Ben in this. Everybody needs Ben, but not in this focus. So okay, now we think about, okay, we need something like bots. Bots that do tasks for us. Bots that do something. And recently I found 3 different ones, which you can use on own infrastructure. There are several other ones which directly integrate into Slack or HipChat. I'll stuck with the one where you have your own systems running, because that's more easy to set up with doing a demo with unreliable internet connectivity. So the first thing where it started with was Hubot. Hubot is written in Node.js, was developed by GitHub. GitHub very early adopted to this technology having chat-based operations. So saying something like, we want to have a deployment, we want to spin up a few more servers, we want to shut down a few more servers. Business intelligence needs a report. And James has this funny story where he said every week a business guy was showing downstairs to IT and saying, hey, can you please send me my last week's reports regarding new customers and, SLA and stuff like that. I don't have an understanding. You guys knows that better. And every time you told him, yeah, wait a minute, and you just typed in a one-liner, and you ask him, same email address as last time? Yes, same email address as last time. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, and he just hits return, says, 2 minutes, be at your desk, you've got the mail. Okay, the BI guy turns around, so he's showing up next week. Hey, I need my, SLA, funny graphs. Yes, of course. You again type the same line, same email address. Okay, you have it in 2 times. Next week he's showing up. When I'm now asking you for doing the graphs, will you still just type that one line? Yes, that's the only thing I'm doing. Okay, can I do that by myself? Yes, that is what it's meant for. Do it for yourself. So enable people doing the work they normally pass on to you, so you can concentrate on your work, especially when it's something like generating reports or stuff like that. So this guy is now happy, and he even says, oh, by the way, can we generate more reports? Yeah, just run report help, and it will show you a list of available possibilities. You can change through customers, through locations, through backends, to either public or private repositories whatsoever. Just add arguments to it. That's really nice. Okay, now you need a new database backend system due to the high load for the guys generating the reports, but hey, it's just one-time work only. adding one more somehow PostgreSQL replication instance or no SQL instance over there, which is purely there for BI generating reports. Okay, so this is the story that James likes to tell when it comes to Hubot. Another company, I forgot about the name, I don't know whether it was Spotify. They said, no, Node.js is really very, very elaborated for developers. But we are mostly real ops people around here, so they don't need that, have that much knowledge on Node.js. Yeah, we made an election, and well, Ruby, Python, Perl, Erlang, Lisp, and they decided to go for Ruby. So there's Lita available, which is implemented in Ruby. It's the same behavior, it's just a bot. And for the Python people, there's R, which is also a bot. So these are now, what are these tools now have in common? They offer some kind of a generic method connecting into a collaborative communication tool, and they have several backends that do something, handlers, however you may call them, helpers, I said here. Hopefully, demo is working. Let's see what is happening. A little bit more over here. I need to change that to mirrored display. Let's see. This should be hopefully large enough, and we already see some information inside. So it's just a Jabber client, nothing else. I'm connected into a group chat. Okay, I'm the only guy inside there. The other guy who is inside, or girl who's inside, it's the bot. So let's say she. She is waiting. So I'm here and she's waiting. She has the name Lita. I've chosen Lita because naming me a developer would be an insult for every developer on that planet. So I do scriptings, and since I'm a Puppet guy, I prefer Ruby over Python, and that is the reason why I decided going for Lita. So, and now I just talk to Lita and say her, hey, Lita, please give me a list of Jenkins jobs. And it says there's one Jenkins job running. What is it that I had to do in former times? I had to move over to that window and look for what's the actual state. I don't like the browser window anymore. It's funny for seeing YouTube videos, yes. Okay, what else is this? Lita, Jenkins, build job 1. And it says me, yes, now I'm building the job for you. Lita, Jenkins, list. And now it's a failed one. The first one was success. I triggered a new one. Now it's a failed state. I'd like to adopt that one to when you trigger the build, that you will get the result back automatically, but that's not implemented yet. Okay, so this is funny. Now I can trigger somehow Jenkins jobs. And everybody who's connected to that chat room sees what I'm doing. I don't have to have a phone over here, so the mobile phone, there we have the colleague in the home office. Over here I have a headset where I talk to other colleagues in other departments. Then there's the boss in the door telling when is the platform working again, and I just have one tool and don't need to communicate what I'm already doing. And now people see, oh, he triggered already the run. I don't have to do it. So I can even ask Lita for help. Yeah, okay. I can ask her, please list me all Icinga checks that are there. Just show me everything. Okay, I'm only interested in the jobs that are on -h on, which one to take? Lita Icinga example42.com. Okay, yeah. Lita Icinga list. I need a chat Java client that knows history, and yeah. Now it's the -h Icinga example42.com. Now I only receive the errors over here, and I see, oh, there's one error. HTTP is critical. Okay, so let's say Lita Icinga, I want to work on that. I acknowledge this check. Sorry? No, it's still fine. Lita Icinga example42.com minus, I need the help. I suppose it's minus S. Icinga egg minus S is service. So minus S is HTTP, and I can append a message on it. Hopefully message is working. I've never tested that. It says me, okay, connection refused. This is the acknowledge. I see now there's an acknowledge. I see the longer error message. Okay, let's head over to our Icinga, and I immediately see the HTTP query, the last one, is acknowledged. I'm working on that. So I don't have to deal now somehow with clicking here, browser was too long open, it lost the session, so I have to re-log in again. How many people now are clicking in parallel without knowing that someone already is doing something? I don't know how Icinga will behave when many people acknowledge in the same time. So something like a, how do you call that? It's not really a DOS attack, but yeah. The code we're having for that is fairly easily. So it's just a little bit of Ruby code, and just to show what is it that we are using here. Here we have the list, and here we just make use of the the site URL in the center of the screen. And this is just the URL that you append to where do I find my Icinga API server. And you just say, okay, I want to have the services, and you have the attributes, which DNS Michi hadn't prepared. So here you see how you filter out certain attributes only show these certain attributes. If someone is interested in not getting shocked by bad Ruby code, he's happily invited having a look on that. So I'm not doing good code, I'm just doing code that barely works. So, let's see, switch over here. This is okay, yeah. So, we now saw a little demo. It was only a little stuff. Something like triggering a build job, getting the result of a build job, doing something with the monitoring. It's limited set at the moment. You can list, you can acknowledge, you can unacknowledge a check. And you can refresh a check based on either a host or a specific check on a host. So this is what is working with the extension for Lita at the moment. What is the problem you have here? You have that centralized system accessing everything in your platform and your infrastructure. It does deployments, it does builds, it interacts with your monitoring, it interacts you with database backends, it interacts with your internal ticketing systems. Do you really want that? Well, to be honest, yes, I like that stuff. I like people seeing how what is happening at the moment. Just record what is typing over there, and you have a report on what has been done during the last incident. Who's doing records when you have an incident on which are the single steps you did on a platform for solving an issue? Nobody. So you try to gather the information afterwards. So of course incidents happen usually on your birthday party at around 4 o'clock in the morning when you're completely drunk. And you're not on call, but it's the colleague who's sitting next to you, well, not so drunk, putting out his phone and saying, oh my God, okay, and now you're heading over to your working machine and you try to fix out these errors, which means you need both hands for doing work, because with one hand you have to close the one drunken eye, and with the other hand you can type. So no 4-eye principle anymore. So you're living between the maximum of security and the maximum of flexibility. And you have to choose the proper path together with security, what is possible and what is not possible. Maybe you have multiple instances of a bot connecting to different rooms. It's okay. Because when you have maximum security, you will have access to nothing. Okay, hopefully APIs. When it comes to maximum security, I even want to get rid on SSH of servers. I don't need them anymore. If a server is not working as expected, why should I log into the server and checking what is happening? Kill the beast, spin up a new VM, and everything should be fine up and running again. Okay, security has an issue with some kind of intrusion on the system. Yeah, no problem. Just use KVM tools and snapshot the whole system. The file system on LVM, the memory state, the CPU state, and just transform it over into their lab so they can do analysis. I can still kill the beast. So you have to find a way on between what is it that you want. No security gives you maximum flexibility, and you can do everything in an automatic pattern, also via ChatOps. Maximum security limits your possible things you can do. The next thing, when you look around for, okay, what is there? There's Hubot, Lita, there are something called Slacker and stuff like that. Okay, what is it that they can do? Now I need to know the handlers, so the things that do the real work. You will see funny examples like applause, which will just send you a link to an animated GIF, clapping hands. You will see something like generate a weather report, do a Google search, so funny things. And see these things as examples on how to code these handlers. Because most people don't put their handlers on GitHub because they somehow also have an implementation on what is my internal platform looking like. And this is not something you would like to expose to the internet. So it definitely needs coding. It needs coding, or you take something which is there and you adopt it to your platform. This is the most, well, pitiful thing that you don't say, I'm just saying gem install and it's there. So Hubot is hosted on GitHub. Lita.io has an own website. Arrow has an own website where you can find more information, how to code backends, how to even have one, for example, Lita, not only connecting to Jabber, but also to someone else, to another location. Maybe you want to put the information into the Jabber client and you want to store them someplace else. There's lots of talks about this stuff. Basically, you will find information from GitHub and from VictorOps. This is people that already do ChatOps for quite some time. They have it implemented. Another funny story from James when he tells about GitHub having a DDoS attack. The network engineer was inside the taxi on the way to San Francisco airport, and he recognized, oh, we're having a DOS attack, and he opened the bot, the chat client, and he typed in the command for the networking system to do DDoS prevention, enabling DDoS prevention. Seems as if they don't have enabled that per default due to performance reason, I don't know. And what was it that the script was doing? First, it goes to the second location, enabling DDoS, then do a BGP announcement, all traffic over to the second location, then they go to the primary router, enabling the DDoS and switching BGP back to the system. And this is done by one line. 5 words that enable DDoS attack on network devices. So you can do quite a lot of it. So I hope it was something not new but interesting for you. I'm happy having discussions about ChatOps in general, ChatOps solutions, and what is possible, and especially I'm interested in, do you have other ideas where you can make use of ChatOps tools? Thank you.
Questions?
So,
please.
okay, I'm very bad with explaining stuff, so people haven't understood anything. So
it was very good. Questions?
Oh, Tom.
We have strong ChatOps advocates at NetWays, but I'm very skeptic and more against using it because I fear the noise. There are too many people with too much time, and they disturb all yours all the time. What do you think about this?
Well, generally, people are always resistful against anything that changes on a platform. And people that implemented ChatOps already thought about too many people being too powerful, doing too much on the platform. That is the reason why you have something like role-based access control. That is the reason why you have something like a two-factor authentication for a certain job that needs to be run. This could either be the same person injecting the job. So, for example, a developer would like to tear down his development platform. He just types in the command for tearing the platform down. The bot will answer him, are you absolutely sure that you not finished the sprint, you want to tear down your platform, you know it's taking 4.5 hours spinning it up again, so he can answer the same command again. When you have some junior people saying there, okay, I want to have a deployment over the whole platform, and of course you say, okay, waiting for authorization because someone else with another, let's say, level of access needs to confirm this job. You can limit it down to which commands are visible by which user. There are different possibilities, but it depends on the bot. It has to be implemented in the bot. One more? Okay.
Nope, nobody understands you over there. That's the problem.
Same problem that you have when multiple operation people are logged onto the server. How do you prevent from same people doing the same command twice, or running the same command on the chat room, giving the same command and triggering an event?
It needs to be done on the bot level. So you have to do this prevention. So for example, you say, okay, for example, the high load generating report command. This is something you have to put into the handler that takes care on this action, that this one needs some kind of a queuing system. And the next thing is always do two-factor authorization and having someone else confirming that this job really should run again a second time. I know, but at least when one already does the job, there is only a very small time gap between you see the job in the Jabber and someone else doing the same job. So he should normally see, okay, this job already has been done. That is the reason why you like to have something like IRC or Jabber history enabled to see what was happening and did someone already do the job, started the job.
You do have changes that when somebody asks for something done, two people are trying to do the same job.
It was the question, like, for example, there's one Jira ticket and two people starting in parallel working on the same job. Of course, you first want to somehow to ensure that this Jira ticket is owned by one person only. So maybe even with the bot, I want to claim the ticket for me. If someone else also claims the ticket, you won't like to claim the ticket because you have the Lita Jira list open tickets. So you see within your department, your person, what is added to you as a ticket, and you can just see, okay, and he's now claiming the ticket for himself because he's working on it. So then you're absolutely sure, okay, who's doing which job. I know, especially when you have larger departments where you say, okay, we're having 100 people here doing support for customers, support for in-house people, things like that might occur, and you have to think about what is it that they're doing. Would it be troublesome if you do a command again? Or would it cause issues? Or would it be okay if the same command gets run again? It just doesn't do anything anymore because maybe the ticket is already closed. So.
That's it?
That's it? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Martin.